There is a piece on This is Anfield about Liverpool's interest in a £40 million winger who would have his heart set on said move, and that is Malick Fofana of Lyon. It's interesting this summer. Like, you look at the players being linked. Obviously, there's the Isak stuff. I just don't think anybody in the right mind thinks we're going to sign Isak, given the price that would be involved. I just don't see that it's a realistic option that we would sign him. So Ekitike is the kind of the closest approximation to Isak. And he's obviously a phenomenally talented footballer. But he's not ready for that move. Now, when I say that, what I mean is you watch him play and there's still a lot of inconsistencies in his game. And ideally, because of the career path he's had and how badly things went at PSG, it would be really good for him to just be able to have another year at Eintracht, continue his development outside the glare of a top club and the pressure that comes with a top club. It would be great for him to have one more season at Eintracht rather, and then make the move. Of course, the problem is that if you don't buy him now, and someone else jumps in, even if it's a situation like with Isak, who himself wasn't quite ready to leave Real Sociedad. And you saw it in his first season with Newcastle. He was pretty average in his first season with the team. Some really good games, some really, really raw performances where you just thought, you need to go back and play at a smaller club for a year. Even though Newcastle are not a top-tier club, they are still a big club with, the eyes of the Premier League on them, especially the £60 million fee. But the issue with Ekitike is, let's say a Newcastle-type club come in and buy him now. Well, we could still, in theory, buy that player 2 years down the line, but the price will go from 60, 70 to 120, 130 if he develops the way Isak has developed. You'd like him to have that one more season, just another season to be the main man, which this is the first time at Eintracht he's been the main man. Is this last 2 months since Marmoush left? You'd like him to have another year of that responsibility, see how he copes with it, see how he copes with teams game planning against him. Can he figure it out game to game? Is his talent enough to just overcome it most weeks? Or do you see the wheels turning as he figures things out? You'd like him to have that other year, but it may be one of those situations where if you don't get him now, you're not going to get him. Like we're in with Isak. Now, I also think it's worth pointing out that what striker we sign depends on what type of striker the manager wants. If he wants a number 9 who can be involved in build-up, can be creative, links play well, then Ekitike would be the one that ticks most of the boxes. If he wants a Bobby type, a facilitator type, and an animal off the ball, then João Pedro is the play. He's homegrown, which is a big factor. He's clearly Premier League proven. He's been toughened through a season in the Championship. There are some injury concerns, and there are obviously some consistency concerns in terms of his ability to put the ball in the back of the net. But they're probably the two best options, considering Isak, it just doesn't appear realistic. And I think there's, at best, probably a 25% chance you could get Julian Alvarez. Maybe it's a bit higher, but, we've got a lot to do and maybe we can't, spend too long trying to bang down a door that just doesn't want to be opened. So it does come down to those two. Like I say, Ekitike, I would rather he have an extra year, but we're not in a position where we can really wait. And if the decision is that he's the one, and the risk is that, well, if we leave him there's a chance that Arsenal, for example, jump in, you'd come to regret that. So you go and get him if he's the one you've settled on. Dean Huijsen is in a similar situation. He's not good enough to come in and start for us, but likewise, he's too good to come in and be a squad player. He's too far along in his development to have that development shunted and reduce his minutes by half and start pricking about playing him left side centre-back 1 week, right side the next. But he's incredibly talented. The best thing he could possibly do is stick at Bournemouth for another year. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And if he is going to move, you don't want to let him go. You don't want to end up missing out on another elite talent. Can we justify 50 million for a guy who's not going to come in and start for us, though? I mean, is there an argument that maybe we sell Ibu and buy Huijsen? Possibly. But if we do that, we cannot continue to play the way we've been playing. Because Huijsen couldn't defend that channel the way Ibu does. Not even a little bit. Like, he's a step down from Ibu as a defender. A significant step down as a defender. Maybe in 3 years, he gets to where Ibu is. His ball playing is a step up from Ibu. But as an overall player, it's absolutely a backward step. But you're gambling on the talent. You're buying the future. But again, the best thing he could do is stick where he is. But if it's a case where he wants to move and his agent said, look, if you're not willing to bite the bullet and do the deal, he's going to go elsewhere, then you have a decision to make. Like, I think we could find a really, really good centre-back in that 20 to 25 million pound range. Someone that is actually more suited to what we want at centre-back. Aerially dominant, quick, good 1v1 defender. Tony De Winter at Genoa would be ideal. Aurel Amenda at Eintracht is another one that could work. Again, these are young centre-backs. De Winter's probably the one furthest along in his development. He has had some injury concerns, but he's a hell of a talent. These lads, Amenda and De Winter, they win 70% of their aerials. I think Huijsen's mid-50s. Now, young centre-backs don't tend to be great in the air, especially at 18, 19, 20. De Winter, I think, is 23. Aurel Amenda, I think, is 22. So maybe in the next couple of years, it develops for Huijsen. From a physical point of view, like he's built like Matip. And Joel was very good in the air. So, there's no reason to think that Huijsen can't be. Back to Fofana, I think he's in this same sort of situation. The talent is exceptional, but he's still very young, very raw, very inconsistent. And at 40 million, you'd want to be getting closer to the finished product. And you'd ideally want him to have another year under his belt. But it doesn't look like that's going to be a possibility either, because a lot of clubs are being linked with him. Lyon bought him, was it last summer? I think it was last summer, from Ghent, where he'd been in their first team for 2 seasons, but not as an every game starter. I think he came in January of 24. So I think he's a season and a half under his belt at Lyon. There's a lot to like about the player. A lot to like about him. Really good 1v1. He's quick. He's got a great burst over 10 yards to really give himself some separation. There's elements of Raheem Sterling in his game. He's short. He's got a short stride as well, but he's quite a powerful runner. He's a really good finisher. What I like about him is how calm he is in front of goal. He's a good weak foot finisher as well, which is something we don't get out of Diaz. He makes that Gakpo back post run as well. When the right winger has the ball, in his case, it can often be Ryan Cherky. He makes that back post run for that same type of ball that Mo plays, that Cody's taken advantage of a few times, where Mo's almost hitting it as a pass come shot towards that back post, and it might go in, but it's there for you to tap in. Fofana does really well off that type of ball into the old corridor of uncertainty, and he gets himself some tap-ins from that. He's got 10 goals this season, which is a big step up from the 4. Actually, I think he scored 8 last season, didn't he, in all competitions? I think he got 4 for Lyon and 4 for Ghent. So, yeah, maybe that's a sign that he's got a consistency to his goal scoring. He'll be getting 8 last season. I think he played. Did he play 50 games last season? I think he did. I think he played. Let me look this up. I looked it up yesterday. Malick. Yeah, last season he had, in all competitions, he had 8 goals in 52 games. 5 in 35 in league competition between the Belgian Pro League and the French League. This season, he's got 4 in 24 in the league and 10 in 35 in all competitions, to go with 5 assists. 4 in the league, 1 in all competitions. Just check up last year's assist numbers. So, I mean, the minutes, he's at about 1850 for this season so far. Clearly, that's, sort of squad player range. And you look at his game log, and, he'll start a couple of games, and he'll come off the bench in a couple of games. So they've been careful with him. They haven't overplayed him. They've managed his minutes quite well. I think he started most of their Europa League games. 5 assists. Last season he managed 5 assists as well. No assists in the French League last year. Minutes total for last year, about 2,700. Which, at his age, is a lot. And obviously, it would appear that a decision was made this year to almost scale him back a bit. He's only 19. He turns 20 at the end of March. What's today? Today's the 23rd. His birthday's a week tomorrow. Injury-wise, he had a bit of a hip injury this season. He had a calf injury earlier in the season, but it didn't force him to miss any games. And he missed 1 game at Ghent. So he's only missed 4 games so far in his career. Again, like I say, you would ideally like him to have another season of development and, just taking some lumps at Lyon. But if you've decided he's the left winger you want to bring in, and there's a risk that he's not going to be there next summer, then maybe you kind of have your hand forced and you have to make the move. The problem with signing too many players like that, though, is you are restricting what your own possibilities are in the first year.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.